Hello, my name is Erica, and I'm the dyslexic Trekkie. My ensign's demands are becoming more intense. He did willingly come to do his duty today, with promise of num-nums. He doesn't seem to understand how the chain of command works. So, he is being kept at his station to do his duty with treats. You also might hear rain. I think it stopped. We'll see how that goes. But before I get started, I have 2 announcements I'd like to make. My small channel is growing, slowly but surely. As some incentive to new viewers, for every 100 subscribers, I'll post a bonus content video for that week. Also, I know that spelling errors find their way into my work from time to time. I try to make sure things are accurate, but I do my own editing, and that means some things fall through the cracks. But if you happen to notice a mistake I miss, politely inform me in the comment section below, and I'll let you pick a topic for an upcoming video. This only applies to the video for that week. New uploads are up at 10 a.m. every Thursday. Now, back to the subject for this week's video. Though Elogium is primarily a Cass and Neelix episode, it has an important issue Janeway has to consider. In Elogium, Cass finds her reproductive phase has been artificially stimulated. This creates a real question Janeway hasn't considered. The crew will need more than one generation. Though Cass ultimately decides to not have a child, the issue is brought to a head when Ensign Wildman announces she's pregnant. The episode starts with the theme of the story, 2 officers kissing in the turbolift, and Chakotay catching them. It's a funny fact about the series that we constantly hear about romance, but we never really see much romance. Think about it. 170-odd crew members, trapped on a starship for 7 years, and only 2 babies are born? But that's a topic for another time. One of the hard parts about reviewing an episode where the subject isn't the focus is there's so much going on I can't talk about. I like Neelix, but his jealousy is ridiculous. Instead, I get to go to the bridge where Chakotay asks if there should be a policy on fraternization. I get it, but still. Props to Janeway for standing up for people's personal rights. And then they get interrupted with the science. I kind of love when they find life that can dwell in space. I know it's not very plausible, but it's always interesting to think about. I'd much rather be thinking about that than Cass eating beetles. I know there are parts of the world that eat insects. I know they are a high source of protein. I know they are an answer to our food shortage, but give me a break, I'm a vegetarian. Also, think about having to explain what's to come for Cass. Yes, you wanted a premature heat because you came into contact with pheromones out in space. Why? Well, we were examining a life outside our ship. Why? Well, it was there. Sorry for the inconvenience. I personally do find the ideas interesting, but I can imagine Cass would be a bit miffed. Beyond the Cass drama and the question of the flatulent krill, the episode is actually fairly typical. And yes, I just said flatulent krill. Tell me I'm wrong. Janeway handles it well, just as she would. The issue may be strange, but the situation isn't. The crew's been tested. She makes the connection between Cass and the krill. Her relationship with Cass helps Janeway get Cass to explain what's going on. There's something sweet about how she comforts Cass too. And here is where we see the reason why I chose this episode. Cass has to choose if she's going to have a baby. How thoughtful of the crew in the turbolift to help open up the issue for discussion in advance. Janeway has to think about the trip she's on and the time it'll take. Before this, the fact of how long the trip will take has been an abstract. They haven't thought about what it'll mean for them in the long run. If they never find a way to get home, they'll need a new crew. That means babies. But the 75 years was always a best-case scenario. It's a little strange how they say 75 as if it's the longest their journey could take and not the shortest. But spare a thought for Neelix. A few hours prior, his biggest concern was Tom Paris's crush. Now he's considering the prospect of imminent fatherhood. I mean, Cass isn't yet 2. I can't imagine pregnancy is 9 months. I forgot how silly parts of this episode were. Yes, the ship is in danger. Yes, they're being swarmed. And yes, there's now a jumbo version of the flatulent krill. But they're about to get into a mating competition with a farting krill and don't know it. I do appreciate Janeway's refusal to harm the creatures without good reason. While Cass has her feet massaged and questions her decision to have a child, the ship itself inadvertently challenges the giant farting krill for mating rights. Like I said, silly. Janeway had to decide if she's going to fight back. I do respect her intent to find a way to get out without violence. It's a little embarrassing how long it takes for them to work out how to do that. Until then, they had but a giant farting krill. Finally, Chakotay suggests they roll over and pretend to be the submissive farting krill, which frees them. This still leaves the question of managing the crew's personal lives. Captain Janeway has to work out some very hard facts. Their situation is in no way ideal for having children. But at the same time, if the ship is going to get home, another generation will be needed. The question is brought to a head. Ensign Wildman informs Captain Janeway that she's pregnant. The question of if the crew should have kids is no longer up for debate. Wildman tells Janeway the baby is all she has left of her husband. On the surface, Elogium is a typical Voyager episode. Even Kessa's situation isn't too far outside the understood norm. She's going through something strange that needs explained. The ship is in a ridiculous situation they have to figure out, not with brute force, but with logic and reason. But under the surface, there's the very real question of how to handle pregnancy and relationships. It's made clear through the franchise that there aren't the artificial restrictions on relationships found in modern military. But as Chakotay says, this isn't a normal situation. Kes has to work out if she wants a child. Ensign Wildman has to decide how to handle being pregnant now. But when Janeway finds out Ensign Wildman wants the baby, she says the only thing she can. Congratulations. After all, in both situations, it's their bodies and their choice. This is an advanced civilization.
Thank you for watching. If you like this subject, please like, share, and subscribe. If you have any thoughts, feelings, or ideas on this subject, please share in the comments below. Again, my name is Erica, and I'm the Dyslexic Trekkie. It was quiet.
It was a dark and stormy night, and the evil mommy insisted on recording her video.
Okay, can you do it on command? Good grief. They know I'm trying to record, I swear it. I am, I know. You eat meat and that's fine. And if you want to eat the odd spider, I understand. I get it. You have a big car. And probably something else that's very, very little. Would you shut up? Not you, Ray. And yes, I just said flatulent krill. It was funny on paper. Now I have to actually say the damn thing. Please help me, I'm falling in love with you. Now he's considering the prospect of imminent fatherhood. I mean, Kes isn't yet 2. That was good! Not you, you're fine. You're being a good boy. Yeah, good boy. I'm not going to get past this name. Farting krill. We have to say it until it's no longer funny. I don't think that's physically possible. When I need an answer from my ensign, he doesn't give it. He just acts as though I'm waving food in front of him. But under the surface, there's the very wheel. I had to do it at least once. Ray, come on, we're almost done. Well, sit! You want to play and Mommy has to work. I was originally going to... Ray, I love you. I love you to pieces. Let me read. This is going to be a really weird edit.